Hey, good afternoon. This is Sports Talk. I'm Chris Masse here with Evan Wheaton. And it's the middle of June, and we got a lot still going on in high school sports. It's pretty awesome. We got two teams playing in state finals softball tomorrow, Montgomery and Lewisburg, so we're going to break that down a little bit. You kind of lucked out your first year here. I think you're getting spoiled. I've been here 23 years, and rare is it that we get teams in state finals all the time, and it's happening a lot now.
I mean, ever since I showed up, we got more football teams in the state semis than ever before. We got plenty of wrestling state medalists, and now looking at softball, it's like, never seen this. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is the first time in 10 years that our Sun-Gazette area has had any softball teams, and the final Warrior run was the last one in 2012. And Montgomery and/or Lewisburg's trying to become the first area softball state champion since Loyalsock in 2008. You've seen them both. I've seen them both. They're both playing great right now. I'll get into the other teams here in a bit, but obviously they've got confidence on their side. You've got to like the way both teams are playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, past couple of games that I saw at Central Columbia, 13-1 win for Montgomery, 12-1 win for Lewisburg. I mean, they really blasted through the state semis, that's for sure.
Ken Wagner, me and John Girardi were actually, it shows how smart we are. We kind of laughed at Ken Wagner made a statement after Lewisburg beat Central Columbia in the district final saying, they had beaten Sauk in the semifinals, beat Central in the final, only the one team advanced. He said those two are as good as anybody in the state. They can make this run too. And me and John were like, I don't know about that. That might be high praise. Turns out he was right, because Lewisburg has just been a buzzsaw through states, and their two toughest games came in districts. And it kind of shines a light on how tough this whole district is, and shows that if you can get out of it, you got a chance to do something.
Absolutely. I mean, Lewisburg is coming up with a lot of big wins, and there have been some big wins for Montgomery too, but I mean, that's even in the ones that are like 1-0, I mean, it's just so hard to score on Montgomery, and I think if they can just get a couple of runs and get an early lead, it's going to be tough to come back from, with Faith Persing in the circle and a solid field behind her for whoever she's not striking out, 10-plus strikeouts a game. I mean, it's quite something.
Yeah, she's been unbelievable. I know when Montgomery, the only other time they went was 2010, and they had a pitcher, Casey Drick, who was kind of the same way. She was overpowering, and they kind of rode her all the way to the state final. I think this Montgomery team's deeper than that one. They hit better than that team. But it is a nice luxury when you can throw out a pitcher who just dominates, and I think she is at her best in the big games. It seems like these pressure games are the ones where they're the most fun for her. She really embraces it, and we've both seen it, and it's quite a luxury to have somebody that good and that embraces the moment the way she does.
Absolutely, and I mean, you're seeing also when the bats get hot for Montgomery, you're finding it all throughout the lineup. I mean, in the semis, Jenna Waring had 5 RBIs. That was in part with a 2-run homer, which was one of 2 2-run homers on the day. Sloan Wooten's been coming up big. I mean, that whole order has been making contributions when those bats get hot.
That's the thing, and I when the bracket came out, I said Montgomery winning districts. I was like, man, the runner-up, who was Kawaneski Valley, actually has an easier draw. Montgomery had to play the defending state champion, Tri-Valley. Those two had a great game last year in the quarterfinals. Tri-Valley won in 8 innings. And I felt like, man, if Montgomery could somehow beat that Tri-Valley team, which pretty much had everybody back, they might be set up to make a run. And that's what's happened. And just like Lewisburg throughout states, Montgomery is just torched these last 2 opponents. They put everything together, and like you said, everybody's hitting. It's a true team effort, and I think their offensive depth is highlighted by the fact that their number 9 hitter, Shelby McCrae, leads the team in home runs with 4. Not a lot of times you see your number 9 hitter leading the team in home runs.
And just one other thing about Montgomery, I mean, if it wasn't one thing to just beat the defending state champion, you look at a team like Faith Christian, I mean, that is such a strong hitting team.
Yeah.
You got a Division I shortstop that Faith was able to strike out a couple of times. You've got a team that's collectively batting over 300. You got players that are batting over 500. I mean, that was a strong hitting team that they held to 1 run. I mean, it's something else.
Yeah, and that was kind of the same way against Glendale, team that had only 2 losses this year, and I think their collective batting average was like 364, and Faith Persing just kind of made them look like any other opponent, like a team that, an 0-20 team, not the great team that Glendale was. She just mowed through them, and when they got a 6-0 lead in the second inning, you don't want to tempt fate and say it's over, but they were feeling pretty good at 6-0 in the second inning when you got Faith Persing in the circle.
That's like when it was 5-0 in the second inning in the state semis when I was checking out Montgomery. It was like, or state quarters. You get that sense that, all right, Montgomery has a 5-0 lead. It's very hard to score runs on this team. If you get up 5 runs early, it's, you never want to say it's over, but it tends to be.
It's close to it now.
It's hard to come back from.
Yeah, it definitely is with her on the mound. I think it's kind of demoralizing for the other team because I think they know what they're up against, and they've read about it. They read about her, and then when they actually see her and know how good she is, and now you're like, oh boy, now we're down 5-6 runs. It's going to be a long haul, and so yeah, I mean, we've talked about these teams that they've played: DuBois County Christian, DuBois Central Catholic, the Cardinals. This will be their toughest challenge since Tri-Valley. I looked up their stuff last night. They've won at least 20 games the last 5 years. They've been in the state quarterfinals or deeper now 5 straight years. Tremendous batting average. I think they're hitting a ridiculous 443 as a team. But again, I feel like the way Montgomery's playing, they're as good as anybody in the state. Obviously, they're as good. They're one of the 2 top teams in the state right now. I think if they play their game, keep playing defense behind Persing, they've got as much of a chance as anybody in this one.
Absolutely. I mean, that field backs up Persing, and when you have Persing in the circle, it's you could have the best hitting team in the state, and it's still a substantial challenge to go up against that field for sure.
One last thing about Montgomery, and we'll move on to Lewisburg. This is a senior-laden team, 8 senior starters. They have 10 seniors overall. There was a buzz, even I'd say 5-6 years ago or so. People were telling me they're gonna have some great teams coming up, and it's one thing to say that, it's one thing to do it, and they've done it, and they've taken this community on a special ride. Their fans just pack every field that they're at. But it's like I said to the players the other day, I was like, obviously you want to win. You don't get this far. It's not like somebody gets to the Super Bowl and it's like, we're happy we're here. They want to win it. At the same time, I think they've wanted to maximize their season, and they've done that. There's no more games after this. They've gotten as many games together as they can. I think maybe that could take some pressure off of them going into this game. It's, you want to win, you play hard, but I think they can kind of, in a sense, hang loose a little bit and know this is it regardless. So let's have fun and embrace the moment and see what happens.
Absolutely. You don't come this far just to say, hey, at least we made it here.
Yeah.
The game hasn't even started yet, so.
Yeah, yep. So if you didn't hear, that game is now at 10:30 tomorrow. It got moved up from 11 o'clock because of the fear of storms coming through tomorrow. So fingers crossed that they get that one in. Lewisburg follows Montgomery. They now play it. Well, it's scheduled for 12:30. Things go perfect. I still highly doubt they would start at 12:30. I think they'd be closer to a 1 o'clock start. But speaking about Lewisburg, they're playing Avon Worth. I don't know anything about. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that school right. They're a Pittsburgh team.
I've been calling them Avonworth.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is notable by Avonworth is that they got 4 senior starters who won the Whippeal back in 2019, and now that they're seniors, they did that again, and now they're trying to go all the way this time and win that state title. So.
And they're coming off a huge win against Bald Eagle Area, who I think a lot of people thought would be playing Lewisburg in this game. They have a Division I pitcher on the mound. They have been kind of rolling people, and Avon Worth pretty much smoked them. So I think that says a lot about how tough an opponent they are coming into this.
Absolutely. A lot of these Whippeal teams are just so dominant in Pennsylvania, and obviously Avonworth is certainly fits the bill on that.
Yeah, and we touched on this, but I felt like all year in District 4 AAA, Central Columbia had the best pitcher in Mia Constantino, who I think could be the best pitcher in the state. But I felt like Lewisburg might be the best overall team in the district. That as good as Kimmy Shannon is as a pitcher, a sophomore pitcher, she's not the dominant power pitcher that Constantino is. But I felt like Lewisburg's got the whole package. They've got pitching, they've got hitting, they can field. There's no weakness in that lineup, and I think that's been evident throughout this whole postseason run that everybody's a threat on this team.
Their fielding has been very, very impressive throughout the postseason. like I said with Montgomery, with that 13-1 win, it's not like Kimmy Shannon's getting a bunch of strikeouts. She had 3, and that field really backed her up. I mean, that field really backed her up in the semis and really throughout the postseason.
Yeah, and I think that's relaxing for Kimmy Shannon, that she knows she doesn't have to go out there and try to strike everybody out. She's got a team behind her. And Faith Persing says the same thing, and she's right. She just happens to strike out a lot of people. But
tremendous amount.
Yeah, but Kimmy Shannon's come up here, and what a year for her. She wins the state gold, and I think it was the 500 freestyle in swimming. And now she's pitching in a state championship, so an incredible year for her.
Absolutely, and that was one thing that I was talking with some of the players, including Kimmy Shannon, after that semifinal win. When you talk about Lewisburg and state finals, all their sports seem to be part of that conversation. Boys soccer, winning 4 state championships and making an appearance this past fall, and cross country always being in the state finals, track and field just now being in the state finals. I mean, really, Kimmy Shannon winning in state swimming. A lot of these players said that, hey, this shouldn't be this is our first state final appearance, but maybe it's not our last. Maybe we keep this program hot, keep it going, and they want to make softball one of those teams that's a part of that conversation consistently.
And that kind of leads into a segue to, you want to get the Sun-Gazette tomorrow, because I kind of have a column about the turnaround that Lewisburg has made. It's pretty remarkable. Earlier last decade, they were a laughingstock in District 4. They had lost 54 straight games at one point. And it wasn't until 2018 that they really had started this meteoric rise back up to the top and have started making this history. And it kind of reminds me of Jersey Shore in football, where they were kind of a dumpster fire for a long time. And then in 2013, they won a district title, and they became this state power that it's like a monster. It just keeps getting stronger every year. And that's what I think could happen with Lewisburg, especially with having 5 sophomore starters and 6 underclassmen starters.
I have one quick question. Do you remember the last time that Lewisburg had won 26 years ago in the district final?
Yeah, 1996. I wasn't here yet.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah,
so
well, that makes me feel. Yeah, I was finishing my freshman year in college, and you weren't born, so that hurts.
It hurts.
That's painful.
Sure.
But yeah, and that was the last time Lewisburg made a run like this, and now they've made history and gone further than any team ever in Lewisburg history, and it's been pretty fun. I love covering high school sports, and it's pretty exciting that they've taken this all the way to the end. That we've maximized all the games that we can get out of this, and it's fun. We cheer for good stories, and that's about it. People can say what they want to say. That's all we want is good stories, and these are great stories when you have local community teams make state title runs. It's pretty awesome.
For the school, for the players, for the community. I mean, this is like what high school sports is all about when you look at just miracle runs like this.
Yeah, and Chris Glenn was telling me, I mean, the girls, they're going to remember not just the games, but they're going to remember the bus rides and the practices and all the inside jokes. I was on a team that went to the state quarters in 1994, and that's the stuff I remember more than the games. And he said, I didn't know that the Penn State dugouts have bathrooms in the dugouts. I was like, that's pretty cool. That's one of the little things that I would find amusing as a player. That would let me know that we've reached the big time. We've got our own bathroom in the dugout.
Absolutely, that sounds great. Having your own personal bathroom in the dugout.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, that's what happens if you make a state final run. Those are the perks you get. So I think that's it, unless you have anything else to add. I know you got to get up to Bowman Field for the cross-cutters.
Yeah, fun don't stop. That's going to be an awesome day tomorrow. It's not fantastic. We got to wake up an hour earlier, but if you want to beat the weather, I'm all for it. Yeah, whatever we got to do to get the games in. So best of luck to Montgomery and Lewisburg, and I hope the community's enjoying it. And we'll talk to you later. This is Sports Talk. That's Evan Wheaton. I'm Chris Masse, the doc. Not an official doctor, but I've got a fake degree for it. Anyway, have a good day. We'll talk to you later.